and welcome to this painting video. In this video we're going to be showing you how to paint a Cadian shock trooper in the colours of the Cadian 122nd Regiment. But before we begin we need to undercoat our model, and as you can see we use Chaos Black for this. We'll be starting off with a camo cloth, and for the cloth itself we'll be using Dark Reaper, Thunderhawk Blue and Fenrisian Grey, and for the camo we'll be using Dawnstone and Administratum Grey. So we're going to dip into our pot of Dark Reaper here, and I'm going to pop it onto the palette. I'm going to get a little bit more. Now I'm going to thin it down with a touch of water, and then we can start popping it onto the model. Now for this we're just going to use it on the cloth, so we're going to avoid anywhere else if we can, but don't worry, we're going to paint over a lot of the leather and the flak armour later. You just might need a couple of layers of this colour to build it up. With the Dark Reaper now dry, you can also notice that I've painted the helmet in the same colour, as obviously you don't want your head blown off in battle. And now we're going to apply our Thunderhawk Blue as our layer, so we're just going to layer up, leaving any recesses darker. Now we're going to highlight the cloth, and I'm going to use Fenrisian Grey for this, so we're just going to go on all of the higher edges and outer ledges of the helmet as well. With the cloth stage now finished, we're going to move on to the camo shapes, and for this we're going to be starting off with Dawnstone just to make the outline and the base coat for them. And for this kind of shape I'm just going to make little puddles. You can use squares, you can use lines, you can use whatever shapes you prefer. And now we're going to use Administratum Grey. I'm going to pop it on top of the Dawnstone pattern. I'm going to just leave a little outline of the previous colour just to give it some shape and depth. I will also use this to highlight any edges or folds that meet the camo. Now with the camo cloth finished, we can move on to the black flak armour, and for this we'll be using Corvus Black, Eshin Grey and Dawnstone. So we're going to dip into our pot of Corvus Black, I'm going to pop it on the palette and I'm going to thin it down with just a touch of water, and then we can start popping it onto the model. And for this we want to just pop it on the raised areas and the flat panels. So we want to leave any recesses of the black armour in the Chaos Black spray that is already under. But you can use Abaddon Black to tidy any of the recesses up if you need to. Next we're going to take our Eshin Grey for our first chunky highlight. So we just want to go around all of the edges of the armour, and you can use the side of your brush to do this. And to finish off the black armour we'll be using an edge highlight of Dawnstone. So we're going to just use it very faintly on the edges of all the black armour. And you can also use this black recipe on the gun casing in any boots as well. With the black armour now finished, we can move on to the red left shoulder pad. For this we'll be using Corn Red, Evil Sun Scarlet and Tuskor Fur. So we're going to dip into the pot of Corn Red and pop it on our palette, just a little tiny little bit more. We'll just thin it down, and then we can start popping it onto that shoulder pad. So the left shoulder pad is just around here. I'm just going to slowly put on a nice good couple of layers of Corn Red onto it. Next we're going to use our Evil Sun Scarlet to do our chunky highlight. So we're just going to go gently around here. If you do make it a little bit too thick, you can always use the Corn Red to tidy up. And finally we're going to use Tuskor Fur for our edge highlight. So we don't want too much. This neutralises it, makes it a little bit softer. With the red shoulder pad now finished, we can move on to the leathers. And for this we'll be using Rhinox Hide, Catachan Flesh and Baneblade Brown. So we're going to dip into our Rhinox Hide here and pop it onto our palette and thin it down just a touch. We'll start popping it onto the leathers. For this you can use it on the straps, the pouches and also the boot gaiters as well around his legs. Also don't forget to use backpack and the little roll on top. Next we're going to use our Catachan Flesh for our chunky highlight. So we're just going to go around all of the edges, Just making sure that we leave some of that colour underneath. This is quite a gentle colour compared to the Rhinox hide, so you just might need a couple of thin layers to build it up. And to finish it off, we're going to use Baneblade Brown as our edge highlight. So we're going to use this in a little bit on all of those edges. And there you have it. Our KDN 122nd Trooper uniform is now complete. And remember, you can use any of these techniques learnt in this video on all the rest of your models in your collection. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and we hope you enjoy painting your own models. Bye bye!